Welcome to my sewing channel. Today's episode we will be diving into scraps again, and I'm going to show you how to sew a small pouch with a zipper. I will also show you a quick way on how to turn it into a box bag. And if this project isn't something that you're interested in today, go ahead and click on my other videos. I have a whole series on different scrap fabric projects. If you are new to my channel, then please consider subscribing because I feel like we have a lot of fun here and you might learn something, although no guarantees on that one. So stick around because you're also going to see some never before seen footage of me trying to top stitch around the zipper. It's quite interesting. Okay, so I know you're dying to see the project, so let's go ahead and get started. For this project, you are going to need some fabric for the lining. You're going to need some warm and natural. Let me just write it down on the screen for you. For this project, I'm going to try to do like some greens and grays and blues because I'm also going to incorporate it into another project that I need to do. So I'm just going to go through and iron a little bit of these and then just cut them into 2-inch strips. These are ones that I've already sewn 2 strips together, and now I'm just going to cut them in 2-inch squares. And the reason why I didn't sew 3 together at one time is that way I can add an individual square to each one of them, so it makes it look kind of, gives it a mixed up variety. Okay. And then now we can take our other scrappy squares right here and just sew them to the ends. Now, when you're ironing your squares, you really want to be careful and kind of treat them like a hot potato because they're fragile and they'll easily get misshaped and then your points won't match up. So just be really careful and gentle with them and use some starch if you'd like. You almost want to press it and you make sure you don't want to like stretch the fabric out. And then even when you go to sew them together, just lightly handle them like this, place them over like that, and make sure that the seams are going in opposite directions so you can easily sew them and make sure that the points match together. Okay, so now on the ones that I sewed just 2 strips together, now I can take my individual pieces and just sew them on. Okay, this is where it kind of starts getting fun. And so you just want to like mix and match, and you kind of want to put darks and mix them with the lights. See, there's the dark, light, darks, and then some lights. And so now we are going to sew them together. And how I ironed them is, there is a rule like iron to the lights or iron to the darks, but when you put them together, just make sure that you have the seams tied up together. I'll show you a better view. Okay, and so you're gonna want to make the seams go really tight up against each other when you sew it. So it's easier if you put the seams like this. You can also iron the seams open if you'd like. I don't do that, but whatever your preference is. So let's start putting these through the machine. Remember to treat these squares like a delicate flower. I usually clip them. You don't have to. I don't like using pins. Okay, now let's open it up and see what we have here. Oh, that looks really nice. We did that without tugging, and even if they don't match up perfectly, that is okay. Don't stress out about the points. Okay, and now we are doing the 3rd row to make our 9-patch block. Okay, now we will go and iron it down, and then we'll just repeat the steps. I also want to show you how nice it is using this quilting foot because it has this lever right here. And so So you're getting 1/4 of an inch every time, and it's helping to guide the fabric. So this is what it is looking like so far. This is just, I'm laying it out so you can see a visual. Like this will be one side of the bag and this will be the other side of the bag. So you're going to be having 6 squares across, 8 squares down. So 42 squares at 2 inches a square. So now I'm just going to sew this one to this. And then I'm going to sew this one to that one and sew it all the way down. Okay, so I have attached all my squares, and I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I can see that they're starting to get out of shape on the edges. So I'm just going to go put this through the sewing machine and sew just right along the edge to keep its shape. I'm using less than 1/4 of an inch seam allowance to go around these edges. I'm just doing this because we still have to quilt it. We don't want it to lose its shape. And I'm using this quilt basting spray. I love it because it just instantly secures all the fabrics together. Okay, so on these smaller patchwork projects, I like to start in the middle. And I'm going to move my needle over to the right a little bit so that I don't stitch in the ditch. And I'm going to change my needle length to 3. And using the spray basting is so nice because you don't have to mess around with pins. So to make my zipper pull, I used my 3 by 2 inch square and I folded it in half and I sewed from here to here. Now I'm just going to turn it inside out and insert a little bit of a stabilizer in it, and see, it's going to be the same size as this. And then my handle that goes on the opposite side is 3 by 7.5, and I just folded, the 2 raw edges in and then folded it again like this, and we can go ahead and sew it. So you can do the same type of thing with the zipper tag. I don't know why I decided to do it the way that I did, but I'm also just going to slide this piece of stabilizer in it and then just get this sewed down. You could use Warm and Natural, or you could even use like a stabilizer. I just picked this for no apparent reason, and I'm just going to stick it in there, tuck it in like that, and then just go sew it down. Okay, so while you were not looking, I went ahead and added a cute little tag, and then I stitched up my zipper pull, but we're not going to attach it to the zipper. We're going to do it a different way. So I just did like a cute little design, and then I quilted the handle as well. So I'm just going to cut off this part. And now we'll move on to attaching the zipper. Okay, so right here we're going to just sandwich in the zipper. So you're going to place it right here on your lining fabric, and see you've got the zip up, and make sure that you don't hit that metal part. And then we're going to place this one down like this, and we're going to sew along here. And you may need to adjust your needle so that it doesn't hit the zipper pulls. I used my walking foot, and I just did, trial and error to make sure that my needle hit, like right along here, so it doesn't hit the zipper feet. So just sew right along here. Okay, and now you have it sewn on. So it should look like this when you open it up. And then you have that right there. And we're going to fold it like this. See, and now you got the zipper up. So I'll turn it this way too so you can see that. So it looks like that. Let's go put it through the sewing machine. I kind of think that you have to have a walking foot for this point because that's a lot of fabric that you're going through. It makes a difference to me. Okay, now we got to be conscious of this. We're going to pull that down, and that part's going to be kind of tricky. I'm going to keep my needle down and kind of try to, okay, I'm going to have to take this out actually. I'm moving my needle down and out of the way, and then I'm just going to pick up where I left off. And I'm going to pull my needle or my thread tight from up above. And we're just going to continue sewing. So, oh, did I do it wrong? Uh-oh. Oh, no. It's right, guys. Okay, that scared me for a minute. Okay, so that is correct. Okay, because then when you open it up, there's your lining. So now we are going to top stitch this before we move forward. So go ahead and top stitch right here and right along here. Because I didn't top stitch one at a time, I'm kind of at a dilemma here. Let's see, I'm going to try to get it through this tube. Okay, so this is kind of a mess. I should have did the top stitch one side at a time. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm like, who put me in charge anyways? Okay, I'm gonna figure something out though, so hold on. Okay, I did it. So I did manage to get it top stitched. You know, it would have been easier if I would have put the liner into two pieces, then we could top stitch one side and top stitch the other. Why I did it this way, I don't know. I don't have an educated answer for you, but here we are now. So now we're going to turn it back inside out, and we are going to sew down the edges. Let me get you a better angle. Okay, so this is inside out, and we're going to flatten it like this right down the middle. We are going to sew on this side, and we're going to sew like this. And just make sure that your zipper is right there in the middle. And we're going to also include our zipper tab. So we're going to place this on the inside. I'm just going to cut off this excess zipper part right here. When you sew it, we can do a 1/2 inch seam allowance and make sure you don't hit on that metal part. And then back stitch where your zipper area is. Okay, and now we're moving on to the opposite end, and we're just going to sew this side down as well. Okay, so now you've sewn both sides and you have it flat like this. Okay, this is the end where you have your zipper pull. So let's start at this one, and we're going to open up the corner so it looks like this. And we're going to sew down like that, and I'll mark it so you can see. Depending on how boxy you want it is how you're gonna cut. And I just want mine to be a little bit boxy. So let me get my ruler and a marker. So the one for today, I'm going to just measure in 1 inch. And that will be my sew line. And then on this side, make sure you stretch out the corner so it looks like a triangle like this. And we're gonna mark in 1 inch. And so that will be my sew line, is the 1 inch. Well, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna sew on that marker. Okay, so we sewed those down, and now we can actually cut them. Okay, and then on the other side, we're gonna cut those first because we want to slide our handle into it. So I'm gonna mark my 1 inch on both sides, and we're going to cut it. And now we are going to slide our handle through. So I'm gonna go sew this one down. Okay, so I sewed that side, and that's what it looks like. We'll clean it up later. And then now we need to find the other side. Put that through. Make sure it's straight. Okay, so here's the other side, but just tuck it in, and we will go and sew that side on. So I just wanted to show you right here because it is a lot of bulk, but just go slow if your machine is having a hard time, and just do a couple of back stitches and it should turn out. Oh, and as I say that, I lost my thread, so hold on. Okay, so we're back in business. Now we are ready to turn it inside out. Here's the big reveal. Yeah, I'm just going to trim it up, and I'm kind of nervous because some of the steps that I did were, you know, not the smartest. Well, they could have been done better. You can even add some frayed check. I'll add some frayed check right now. Sorry guys, I promise I'm not stalling. So far, so good. Look at this. And there you have a cute little boxy bag. What do you think? It's got this cute little handle. It's got this little tab. Remember, I even put my name on it. And here's the inside. I could have done it without the raw edges, but oh my gosh, when you look inside of it, you can't see any raw edges. So I think this is a win. Okay, so I'm actually quite happy with this. I've just been going around trying to figure out like, what kind of stuff am I gonna put in my little pouch? So if you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure that you click on my other videos. I have a whole scrap fabric project series and just a whole bunch of other fun videos. So if you liked this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. And until next time, happy sewing.